Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Last Epoch dev stream. As always, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. How are you doing today? I'm doing well, thank you. Good, thanks for asking. Now moving on to gameplay. The pleasantries are out of the way. We're just gonna hop right back in. We're going same build. We're gonna do empowered monos. Let's try and get some cool stuff. Just hopping right in. If this is your first time here, at the super early stage, I'm just gonna say it anyways at the start. Please put out Last Epoch game in front of your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them all as best I can. Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay. Let's remember that we are not able to just like assume we're awesome. It's a bit of a rude awakening right at the start there. Okay. Were we doing empowered last time? I don't think we were. Let's start this over again. Welcome to the Last Epoch dev stream. Oh, we have a ton of modifiers going on. I thought this was a fresh one. Okay, well, as always, we stream here for charity. Because who would watch some fool like me play like this for normal reasons? And we're streaming for Child's Play charity right now, which is a sweet organization involved in bringing kids games, which is important. Yeah, we're not super duper strong, but we're pretty good. Pretty good. I needed to drop the difficulty down slightly because there's too many modifiers on that model already. You know, just ease things up a touch. How's everybody doing? Make it through Halloween, okay. We're coming up on, well, I was coming up on Christmas, but I guess for a lot of people it's Thanksgiving first, isn't it? Is that yesterday? Is today Black Friday or is that next week? It's weird. We in Canada we kind of have Black Friday-ish, but not really, because like we don't have our Thanksgiving's like a month and a half ago already at this point, so there's nothing to really like pin it to. A little weird. Also, in future news, we'll be we've got some interesting stuff coming to the stream soon. Hopefully, I know it's really vague, but I think we're gonna have some exciting stuff that we've been wanting to do on stream for a while that we're finally gonna be able to do soon. Vague foreshadowing, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Hey man, great game. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Oh, I assume you're enjoying it. This build is it's a lot of fun. There's some spiky versions of it that you can get into with super late game stuff. We're still pretty early. Last time, if you weren't here, we managed to get on first try this less bonus damage from crits onto our weapon, which is amazing. With a single LP weapon. And our goal this time is to get some sort of wow, lots of damage coming out. Our goal this time is to get some legendary on our chest. So we already have our 1 LP chest version, so we've just got to find an exalted item to go with this. Which I don't know what we're going to do yet, but, you know, if something sweet comes along. Okay, come on. Just to prove a point. I started looking into Link to the Past randomizers. I just like I've sort of seen YouTube videos pop up every once in a while about like this sort of thing, and like sort of dismissed it. I actually tried it recently. Oh man, it was fun. I also realized that I know nothing about that game, but still tons of fun. Oh, come on, Mike. One thing at a time. Is there anything? I'm not sure what we're looking for our chest exalted, but I guess I'm wondering what we should be looking for. If anyone has an idea of what they think we should be looking for, let me know. Or if you have any questions about Epoch, where it's going, where we've been, what we're doing, happy to answer those too. As I get meeting invite notifications on my phone. Definitely only doing one thing at a time here. You know, look, what are the actual buffs we're gaining from Anomaly? Because I remember I was going to look at it last time, I just never did. Oh, okay, I guess we should kill things first before looking. Alright, what's this giving? Time bubble, yeah, we know that. Attack and cast speed, very useful. Health leech, yes. Duration, yep. Crit chance, okay, nice. Leech, crit, attack speed, works for me. Hello, you got a question. Hey, why don't we have throwing crit chance appearing on the character screen like others? That's interesting. I don't know why. Maybe is there anything that actually gives that stat specifically? Yeah, it's not there, is it? That's weird. I don't know why it's not there. We may not have had the stat may not really been around when we created the character sheet, which is a long time ago, which was before the rogue really. We've done some updates to it to add in stats there, but I'm surprised that's not there. Wow, these guys are beefy. Poison pen, we'll take it. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why we don't have it there. There's sort of this like nebulous idea of one day we're gonna update the character sheet and it's gonna be awesome. And we've like gone so far as to create like a mock-up of it and like set out design specifications for it. And just like never finished the actual never like we actually even started it briefly. And then we're like, okay, person working on that, this other thing is way more important. You gotta change what you're doing now. And then just like it was just one way more important thing after another, and it kept getting pushed down the line. So it still is in the works, and things like that will be added in. What I'd really like to see, and I don't know how possible this is, I think it should be doable because of the way that the stat system is set up, is to actually have a like custom. And to be clear, this is a Mike Pipe Dream request for a system like this. If I was making it. And that's have a like custom stat field. So like I don't know, maybe there's like a favorite stats section. So like there's a whole bunch of these tabs, and you can like favorite some of them so that they show up on the front screen. But then like if something's not in here, you could even like with like a drop down menu, you could pick multiple tags because all the stats are is just a collection of tags. So like it'll have like a base property, and then it'll have added, increased, or more value, and that makes up the tag or the stat. And then sometimes there's like additional things. So like increased ignite chance is actually the stat property ailment chance with the optional tag ignite with the type of with the actual number that's involved with it as an increased chance. And so if you could just like pick those things from a drop down, you could like make your own stats to like stick out there, which I think would be really cool. That's a lot of work, and who knows if we can actually pull something like that off. But I think it could be really good, because there's just so many stats. Being able to, if there's like some obscure build that you're like, I really need to track my bow reflect damage for this build because it's a really key component. I don't know. Dragon Song, no, I'll be though. And yeah, you can put some cool stuff in there. I know we really want to get the key thing we want to put in an updated character stat screen of some sort is ability specific information. So like, okay, and this is a lot easier now since the rework to most skills has been finished. Actually, I think all skills now have been finished as far as their backend functionality for stats is concerned. And you could get like, okay, my warpath has this much chance to ignite, and my warpath has this much chance to poison, and then my void cleave has this much chance to ignite and this much chance to poison, type thing. And you could separate it out by individual skill, which is probably the most important thing for people. I don't remember doing all this. This is a lot of stuff here, and I kind of want to just like, all these are about to drop off, which is nice. Enemies have endurance, great. We have culling, no big deal. One health regen, anyone? No, nothing. Oh gosh. We've also got some interesting stuff with increased cooldown recovery speed relating to movement abilities, and the order that they start in and things like that coming. That we're kind of reworking that a little bit, just to touch on them. I think it'll make. I think we'll have some classes that are feeling like they don't have the ability to get their movement speed up to a reasonable position, have the opportunity to, through gearing, to get their movement speed a little bit better. And then classes that have significantly better movement speed, for the most part, will feel relatively untouched. A few exploit cases getting dealt with too, which is nice. Will we ever get legendary items that add extra projectiles duration? Oh wow, I should have been looking at the screen. Whoops. Will we ever get legendary items that add extra projectiles duration, other stuff like that? So I assume you mean unique items. And yes, we already have those, so I assume more is possible for sure, but because like there's already where are we here? Cinder Song. Is it Cinder Song? Dark Shadow Cinders. Got the wrong name for it. Or just it's a wand that adds 2 projectiles to fireball. A few stash tabs. There's a couple stash tabs in there. Why didn't those go away? That's... I died. Those should go away. I wonder what happened there. Okay. I'm struggling to make progress here. I almost feel like we should just go back here because we do have culling, and we'll probably be able to finish it, I think. Will stash tabs always be available with gold? Yes. We don't plan on selling stash tabs for real money, if that's the underlying question sitting there. Yeah, just a quick reminder, if you do want to ask me a question, please put Last Epoch Game in the questions so I see your posts stand out a little bit easier. But yeah, all of those, like the sort of like the oh, it's not that bad, pay for convenience stuff. We're really avoiding that stuff hard. There's a fair bit of poison on the ground here. Like hype. It's another question that usually comes up with that is that, like hypothetically, if we ever were to add in an auto loot pet type thing, it would be available without money, and that any purchased versions of it would be just cosmetic variations on the mechanically identical in-game pet. We do have many pets; they just don't do anything right now. Hey, could you comment a bit on how do you balance the shared subclasses? I recently did a few fresh SSF starts, and Primalist and Sentinel felt way better compared to the others just because they had access to more options. Yeah, so I think this is an interesting... you look at like Acolyte, Rogue, and... oh my goodness. Okay, you look at Acolyte, Rogue, and Mage, and they're missing that third subclass. It is hard to keep their like the feel and the quality and the power all on par with the other ones, that the other two that like you say do have that third subclass, and it's really difficult. And I think that we definitely have we've left room for it intentionally because we don't want to have to go back and do things as much. So we kind of don't, in a sense. We try and give them as many options as we can, and there are some instances where we've put a few nodes in one passive tree, or even in the base passive tree, where we're like, okay, eventually that's going to be a Rune Master node, or oh, eventually that's going to be a Falconer node. And so we've hidden a couple of those around already. But for the most part, we're kind of just in the mindset of let's do things with as much focus on this is what it's going to be like at launch as possible. And that doesn't always work and everything, but we kind of want to, if we can, avoid redoing stuff. So it's sort of just make it feel as good as we can with the space that we have, the design space we have. And yeah, it doesn't always work out quite as well, unfortunately. I think my health is a little low. I think that's part of the big problem right now, is I need more health. I'm not sure where that's going to come from. Possibly idols, partially. I think the passives that I'm looking at, because I'm still in the 83... I think a lot of the passives I'm looking at are health passives right now. I sense that's a big problem about doing that level 100 content with level 83 characters. There's 17 missing passives. That was an easy one. Kind of conflicting stuff there. Paladin skill, Void Knight passive. What up, Last Epoch? What up, Nasty V? How big of a bribe do you need to not nerf Umbral Blades in upcoming patches? Well, I mean, I can not nerf it more than we already have, but yeah. It's a pretty bonkers strong ability right now. ICDR. Yeah, I think part of the cooldown reduction stuff I was talking about before is cooldown reductions. It's only on helmets, and it's a little like it's a little narrow right now. I feel like someone was talking about that in here actually a little while ago. Up. Lots of ground effects. Don't stand in the fire ice. Don't stand in the cold fire.
Stand down or die.
Stand down or die. Is multiplayer platform with same Unity engine version, or is it an updated version? It's the same. I mean, technically, it's an updated version, but it's like the like it's like 2019 point. What is it? One sec, I'll tell you. 2019.4.40 F1 instead of like 2019.4.38 F1 or something like that. You know, it's basically the same, but technically it is updated. Let's get that crit. Except on that. How am I not critting? Did I just get pure crit? Did I not get the shrine? Did I just like not click on it? Just ate that one to the face. Mike, what did you say about standing in the fire? Oh yeah. Favorite breakfast? My favorite breakfast is kind of weird. It's like one of the first things I learned how to make as a kid. And it's bunch of rice. Love rice. Oh, Rainbow Edge. Yeah, rice, eggs, cheese, salsa. My favorite breakfast. I mean, I don't know, I'm sure I could just like start listing off ingredients and or like things like, okay, we're gonna have like French toast, we're gonna have a little like steak and eggs in there at the same time. No, like actual breakfast that if I'm actually gonna make something. Yeah. I'm sure there's like a real name for it, but I don't have a name for it. Go away for a second, guys. Come on. I'm just gonna deal with these ones first. Oh. Welcome back. Didn't expect you so soon to the party. Across this bridge. I probably should have gone to that other one first. I thought this was way closer. We just started testing Temple Sanctum in multiplayer, which is pretty good. It's pretty cool. That actually got released to the CTs, I want to say yesterday? Can we anomaly this? We can! That's funny. The game object on the back end that like you can't see it or anything, but the the game object that holds things when you put them into anomaly, like when they go in there. It's the game object itself is named a TARDIS. Like it's just called TARDIS, not a TARDIS. Yeah. That was funny, I thought. Do you expect multiplayer meta to have dedicated support classes like Paladin, or would you rather have all classes bring some synergy options but no actual supports? I think we'll see. If I was able to like dictate what the meta was, so like I guess first off I should say, I know we have no real control over what the meta is. We can try and influence it by buffing and nerfing certain things, but it's going to be whatever the community decides it is, really, because that's just how it works. And hopefully everyone decides to make it something that is fun for most people. I never clicked on it. That's hilarious. So yeah, it's sort of whatever. But if you could say like, hey Mike, if you could make the meta whatever you want it to be, what would it be? I would say that there would be the option to play a support class if you wanted to, where it was functional and viable and it worked, but it wasn't required. So I know these, like, the term viable and required are always so nebulous. So like, okay, viable for what? Required to do what? And usually that conversation that's being discussed comes down to viable as viable. Such a funny term in something like this, because quite often the line for viable is, what are the top like 1%, not even top 0.1% of builds? Those are the only viable ones, so are the super tippity tip top ones. And I'm not a huge fan of that, but I mean, fair enough. I think it should be possible to complete multiplayer, very high-end content, be competitive with a support in your group, but not be required to bring a support if you don't want to. I think what'll be more important, or hopefully what'll be more important, is having synergy in your party. So if I mean, we've actually solved this problem. It's not a thing, but like hypothetically, if this was a problem, this would be an example of poor synergy. There's primalists can, I think it's primalists, maybe like rogues, can like strip bleeds off targets, can like consume the bleeding stacks on a target to do something. So quite often what you'll do is you'll focus on setting up a large quantity of low power bleed stacks to consume them all quickly. But then, so if you have someone else who's relying on using very powerful bleed stacks to deal damage, and you're consuming their bleed stacks, it would be like sort of anti-synergistic. And I think that things like that, it would be like bad for your party or whatever. And obviously, I guess. So it's like, I don't know, it's tricky to quantify really exactly what that means. Kind of lost my train of thought there. I think it should be viable and possible to play with a support in your party, and I think that should come in many different ways. Like, I think this should be possible to play as like a Spriggan form support, with like you're bringing like Spriggan minions and Spriggan form, and you're trying to play like shielding up your friends and using the heals from your Spriggan to like healing wind to things constantly and stuff like that. Like, I and all the way to things where you care more about buffing your allies, or you care about like an acolyte support where you're specifically focused on like cursing people, and maybe that's the whole deal. So your whole form of support is not about actually dealing damage yourself, but you're like, I'm gonna put curses on people and make that be my like you have a team of three melee people and like a curse build where they're hitting with bone curse really quickly, and that's like the primary form of your support, is you're just helping your melee party do better. So having those synergies is more important than the like Holy Trinity composition of the build where you have like tank, DPS support, things like that. Like, we're less interested in forming those relationships and more just, did you find some way to increase your group's power by making things that work together nicely? Can you tell are using Havoc Physics package with your Unity engine? No, we're not. All the major packages like that that we're using show up in the splash screen when you first start the game. And some of them not because we even have to. Can we expect y'all to go nuts with more squirrel-based uniques? Nice, that's what you did there. I mean, too much of a good thing, you know. I could see a couple more coming in. I'd be surprised if anytime even remotely soon, but maybe eventually, we see like you open your your character sheet, it's just like a bunch of squirrel themed items in your entire character sheet. I think that's not overly likely to happen, you know? But possible, I guess. So other than what we already know about adaptive melee and other attacks, yeah. So I guess just quick note on that. It's just that we're removing, we're adding the ability to have damage types, damage stats, added damage stats appear on items without an element. Previously, all added damage stats needed to have an element. So the elements are these 7 things here. And I guess element, the damage type. The problem is you use the term damage type and it refers to two different things. And we use the term elemental for these 3 things, which is why element is confusing when it's talking about all 7. But anyways, so you see how this says melee physical, 101 melee physical damage. That physical is going to drop. And so it's just going to be 101 melee damage. So moving on to the question. Do you guys plan on having a lot of buffs and nerfs by the release of 0.9? Or intend to balance more next patches? There will be quite a few buffs and nerfs. Some of those just are incidental bug fixes that, like there's, I don't know, a couple dozen nodes that just weren't doing anything apparently. That we've done an entire game audit. So QA staff has done an unreal job of tackling, where they've gone through and tested every single node of every single ability in the entire game. And explicitly checked that it functions in relation to every other node of every other ability in the entire game. And so a lot of stuff that came out of that was just like, there were certain nodes that just like, you put 1 point in and it does the exact same thing as putting 10 points in. There were some nodes that just didn't work. Like there was lots of little things, and they're like subtle hidden things that's so hard to tell. And the only way you can tell really is with tools enabled, or if you're like really looking for it, and most people aren't really looking for it type thing. So yeah, there's some sort of like incidental buffs and nerfs that are going to happen from just bug fixing, and then on top of that, we do generally like to take a pass at balancing in general. If there's certain builds that are underperforming, pulling them up a little bit. If there's certain builds that are I'd say extremely powerful and unfun to play, those are the really problematic ones, and so we take a shot at those generally too. Sometimes by just trying to make the build more fun by removing some sort of like mandatory action you have to take to make it function, or sometimes it's like there's really subtle things too, so there can be and sort of indirect fixes for things like that, I guess. There was an issue where I can't remember the exact thing. I guess this isn't what actually happened, but I'll give an example of a scenario that's related, and it makes the point well. Exsanguinous was for a while the only item that would actively force your health to a low point, to enable a low life playstyle build really easily, and if you didn't have easy access to that, you could spend a long time before your build came online, or be forced to play another character until you got that item, or be forced to play a different build and switch over, which are really not things we wanted. So we added in 2 more items that come a lot earlier in the game in the form of a different chest that's just a weaker version of it, that's Acolyte only, and boots as well that perform a similar function. Now, that's not actually why any of that happened, and I'm fudging the story to prove a point of an example, but things like that do happen. The chest is actually because we switched to having class-specific chests, and it's kind of related because there were issues where Acolytes were having a tough time getting it too late, so it's half true. All right. This is getting better. This is getting better. I feel like there was a lot of mods that were built up on the monolith that were just a little too much for me. And I died a couple times and they went away, and now we're okay. Gloves, not for us. That's okay. What else do we got? We got a couple more questions here. Oh, as far as just balance and drill, we are also going to take just a normal balance pass on things before we launch it, which does have to do with like multiplayer balance and like the cooldown recovery stuff I was talking about before, and there's all sorts of little things here and there that need to get balanced and touched on, and just as people play more and we see more things evolving, and we learn more about the game, and we release new items and things like that, like all the balance affects all the other things. All right, next question. When multiplayer comes out, our current characters won't be able to go into multiplayer. True. Will a similar thing happen from multiplayer to 1.0 release, or will we need to re-roll at release as well? This is subject to change. However, the current plan, which I expect to be stable, is that characters created in the live released version of the game, when multiplayer is live, so when 0.9 releases, will be playable in 1.0. However, they will likely be pushed into a separate cycle, a separate environment. So you will, if it's sort of the use PoE terms, standard league. So they'll go into standard league, and they'll go into a persistent pool of characters that will grow as time goes on. Diablo 2 terms, non-ladder. You know, like pretty straightforward stuff. That's sort of a concept that's pretty ingrained, I think, in the genre at this point. I don't like the enrage. Enrage at half health seems bad. We do have culling, so increased health is not terrible. So yeah, if you want to play on the new ladder when 1.0 launches, you'll need to start new characters. But for people that don't care about that or just want to keep with their characters, they'll still have access to them and be able to play them. That's the goal. That's the plan. The way we've designed everything, something would have to go pretty colossally wrong to make that not be the case. And the reason I'm just being kind of like non-committal about it is because sometimes things do go wrong. That was sweet. The guy just fell off the cliff. Oh, that was great. I like that. I wonder if there's any room to craft on our current gear. Like if there's just any forging potential and space available. I'm just taking a quick look. Nope, this button. I had to move it from my normal key a little while ago. Do we have anything here? A little forging potential. Oh, we can touch some stuff up. We're in like T3, T4 gear. Oh, let's see what we got here. Oh, my face is... Oh, it's on the... Oh, no. Mike, what have you done? Oh. Just... Oh, ruining everything. Oh, it's way too big now. Oh, no. Eh, it's better, but it's not right. Okay, we're just gonna do a little quick little stuff here. We're struggling with survive and a touch. Let's... You know what? Just a little bit more... Endurance threshold will take us a little bit further. What's our void res? What's that doing? Oh, yeah, let's go. Oh, hey, a second one. We take those. We take those here. Endurance, yeah. Let's get some of that. Oh, strength, there'll be a little bit of armor too on it. Pretty sure strength still is armor. Move speed, hello. Armor, hello. More move speed, hello. Armor, take that. What's our phys res like? Plenty. Let's get void damage. Sure, might as well a little more. Aw, it's worth a shot, right? Our phys res is pretty high. I mean, I can almost attempt to re-roll that a little bit, but let's just try and seal some big ones. Why not, right? Nah. We did get the strength crit though, so that's fine. Let's see if we can seal this. No. That would have been incredible. Oh, we need an amulet. We need a new amulet. That is a woefully understated amulet here. Okay, I mean that should help a little bit, eh? A few stats here and there. Crafting break over. See how that does us. Oh, so much more powerful. It's basically the same. Whatever, though. We'll take those regardless. I'm quite kind of haphazard with my rare crafting materials, though, so don't be quite as reckless as I am, would be my advice. Spine Hunter Alpha. Alright, let's find another question here. If I'm gonna die, might as well go out doing what I love, answering questions. Oh my goodness. There we go. I was touch and go the whole time there. Okay. Let's find some more questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them and put an @Last Epoch game in the question. Reiterate my starting spiel here a little bit. We also do stream for charity. Everything goes to charity. Child's Play is our charity this month. We'll do a new one every month. ! Build in chat will tell you what I'm playing. Hello. Say hello to me. I gotta say hello back. Hello, Degustrator Procento. Degustator Procento. I'm butchering you horribly, but how's it going, bud? How you doing? Alright, will we be able to copy our multiplayer characters into offline mode? Obviously not the other way around. Yes, obviously not the other way around, but it does get asked quite a bit, which is why it is important to clarify. So thank you for clarifying. Moving your characters from online to offline, maybe it doesn't have much in the way of a gameplay implication. There's a bit of a okay, I'm gonna practice my crafting offline element to it that's a little tricky, and you suddenly get weird experimentation systems and tools that require you to copy your character from online to offline, things like that. But then if you don't have that ability, it's just a manual entry, which kind of sucks. It's tricky, and there's already tools that use uploading your save file to great effect, which I think are wonderful. So it's a tough thing to say yes or no to, and we haven't made a decision on it yet. I think it would be a positive thing overall. But we haven't really landed on it yet. It's not. It's also extra functionality. It's not terrible to do because it's really just take because the single player and multiplayer clients are the same client, so it's just like take the multiplayer character you're playing, that all that data that you can download anyways because it's just your character, and just run it through the save function that already exists for single player. So it's not terrible to do. It's a little bit of extra backend stuff that needs to be done for it, but realistically, right now, because of the way multiplayer works, your character save never actually fully. Oh, it might make it onto the client. Not in the same way. It's a little different. So maybe I'll give you a maybe. Corruption right now is at 50. I am so good at this. I'm level 83. You know, give me a little break here. Do I have any passive points? No. What about the performance? What about it? We're gonna be we've got new performance updates coming through. There's all sorts of stuff we've done in that pass that I was talking about earlier, about the entire game pass that QA did. They also checked every single scene in the entire game, every single level, every single zone. Checked it for like bugs, like visual obstruction overhangs. Checked it for performance. There's all sorts of new tools that were developed recently by one of our technical artists that are just so great to have. Ding! There we go. 84. Love it. Thank you very much, someone. Hello, Headless Hunter. Subscribed. Thank you very much. Welcome to the party. Hope you're having fun. Stick around. I might learn something. I doubt you will, though. I mean, I got nothing to teach here. But yeah, what was I saying just before that? Same things, stuff and things. Here we go. Ow, my face. It hurts. Avalanche, my one weakness. How did you know? I want to open the window. It gets really hot in here when I do this. Because I hate wearing my constricting suit at the office. Ugh. Ugh. Alright, another question is, sorry if this has been asked before. That's okay, it probably has. We'll be happy to answer it again, no problem. Will there be an alternative way to level once you've finished the story on a character? Kinda yes, kinda no. We're sticking with the same system we have now, which there is a way to augment your subsequent leveling process through the use of dungeons. It's not quite as effective at the job as we had hoped, and we're still looking at improving that experience and increasing the ability to which you can augment your leveling process through dungeons. This sword looks so cool, and like, is the version in here? I don't think it is. It's not in here yet. That's not it, is it? But it is. It is. Yeah. It's just so subtle. Yeah. Love it. Anyways, let's on fire. I tell him. Necro res, small charm. We'll take it. Small idol. Yeah. So the with the dungeons, if you're unaware, you can go into a dungeon, and dungeons all have storyline skips. So, for example, if you go into Temporal Sanctum, it spits you out at the end of time. Basically, so it's pretty sure that's the oh no, it's the woods. The woods drops you at the end of time. Yeah, you nope, not Soulfire Bastion. Wow, Mike. So you're coming through the game here. If you're unaware, this is where Chapter A starts after the prologue. So it's out here. You have a few quests in here. Then you start coming along here. Chapter B starts in here, I think. This is where Chapter B starts. I think. Which you all know is Chapter 3. And then you can take a detour up here to Light This Arbor. And when you complete Light This Arbor, this spits you out. It jumps you all the way to the end of time, skipping all of this. Which skips quite a bit of the storyline. So, like, all 3 of the dungeons that are in the game right now do have storyline skips. And they let you... one of them lets you jump right to the end, the last chapter, basically. Yeah, and they'll just help a little bit to speed up that leveling process. Now, there are some issues with the difficulty with early level characters, especially with that Lightless Arbor dungeon, specifically that one at low levels, and so there's a few changes that need to get made there to make it play better and feel better. Then on top of that, in multiplayer, rushing someone in multiplayer is unbelievably easy and efficient. So if you've got a friend who's already at endgame, getting there yourself takes 10 seconds. Like, you just jump right there. So it's, kind of yes, in a way. There are elements of the storyline though that you will need to complete in order to have a fully finished character. So like the quests, that give you passive points, stat points actually with the final quest of the game right now, and because the final quest of the game gives you 1 to all stats. That's where this dexterity and intelligence are coming from, and you get your passive and idle stats. So there are 8 idle slot rewards for quests, for secondary quests, and or side quests, sorry. And then there's 15 passive point rewards for the same type of quests, and also some main quests probably too. I don't know exactly where they're all located, but there are way more than 8 quests for idle slot rewards that are in the game, so you can pick and choose the 8 that you want to do. And there are way more than 15 passive reward quests in the game, so you can pick and choose the ones that you want to do. So here's an example. I still haven't done this quest yet. It's a side quest. It's a passive point reward, but there are 15 finished passive reward quests that I've done. So I've got all the passive points that I can get, and you won't actually get a passive point from this. I should probably update the UI to show that you won't get this because you're already capped or something like that. Make a note, Mike. Okay, good. Oh, we have a passive point we can do. Thanks, Reimer. We got a shout out to in-game chat for constantly having one of the most helpful and nice communities. Rare to see one so decent nearly every hour I'm on. That's cool, man. I'm glad you're having a good experience in there. I don't see too many like horror stories about that, which is great. I also rarely see people complaining about the mod team in there, which is really nice to see as well. Just shout out to you people that are doing a fantastic job. Any cool leaks? Yeah, sure. What do you want? I got a couple things planned. I really hope you just like ask for something that I just have queued up. It's kind of what I'm hoping for here. Number 2 leak. Okay, you want the number 2 leak first. Sounds good. Okay. Cosmetics when? That's actually what I'm working on right now. Proving to be very difficult to do. Here is updated VFX for a Spellblade ability. Guess it's actually on Spellblade. Here we go. Take a little peek. Juiced pretty hard. Got that repeat activation, Shadow Strike. So it's auto recasting itself a whole bunch. Pretty cool ability. I like this one. Elemental weapons on ya. Start. Tons of that. There we go. That's it. Oh, finish. Oh, finish. Yeah, it's. I think it's a really cool update. There we go. You like the pretty snowflakes in that? Me too. So yeah, there's lots of abilities that are getting little it's pretty huge visual updates on them, just to bring them into our modern era of awesome. It's a thing, isn't it? I do need some more damage output here. I don't know where we're gonna get that from, but I do need a little bit more of it. Should probably be looking for gear. Oh hey, hello there, amulet with a ton of resistances on it, a little bit of mana. I might craft that into something cool. How close are we until multiplayer and economy trading release? An unknown duration that I can't share with you right now. Sorry. The I don't have an update on the ETA for multiplayer just yet. As for the phrase like economy trading release, I think you might be expecting a little bit more in the trading category than is going to happen. Maybe not. I could be reading into that way too much. Hey dude, is it necessary for you to keep selling copies of the game to get out of early access? I hope this isn't a rude question, by the way. Yeah, I understand the question. It's not rude. It's totally fine. Even if it was rude, then I wouldn't be offended or whatever by it. The worst case scenario, I just wouldn't answer. I guess what this boils down to is, hypothetically, in the scenario that we sell 0 copies between now and release, are we okay as a company? Yeah, we're fine. We'll like, there's no risk of us not making it to release. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say. There's always some tiny amount of risk, right? But no, we're fine. It's smooth sailing. Yeah. Ring key of memory. Those are nice. If you haven't seen one of those before, it lets you start the arena at the halfway point between of like what you completed last time. So if you completed at a minimum of 50, I think. So if you completed like 400 waves last time, it starts you at 200 instead of 0, which is really nice. All res. Glancing Blow's fine. I think we're gonna go with that. Sounds like you're doing well. Nice to hear. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. And like, to be fair, I said that answer the last question with such confidence. I have no access to the details of the company financials, so really I don't know 100%. But as far as I'm aware, everything's totally fine. Two of you. Whoa. Oh, plus 8 to all attributes. That's a nice one that's sitting there. Yeah. We should get our Warpath DPS up a little bit here. I'm not sure what to do there best. Are we planning to implement an economy system similar to PoE or Diablo 2? No. I think I've been pretty clear about that. Void Res. Oh, we already have Void Res capped. Look at that. We're overcapped on it. When did that happen? This one we've got... Oh, Lightning Res is down. What happened? What did we change? I haven't seen the roadmap. There isn't one right now. How far down the line are the unfinished masteries? Unfinished masteries will arrive with 1.0 launch at the same time. So whenever 1.0 launches, masteries will be the same day, same time, same patch. It was an interesting decision to get how we got there. Part of it is just where we are in development with them, and like, I know it sounds weird, but most of it was a decision to try and get multiplayer out faster. It's been way too long to get multiplayer out. Anyways, but yeah, it's we had considered releasing some of them at 0.9 or some of them in between 0.9 and 1.0. And I think it'll just hit hard, hit nice, and then be a big event at 1.0 and be like, here, the game's finished now, or not finished, but it's a complete game now. There we go. That's a better way to put it. Why, hello, Aaron. Spoiler time. I just did a spoiler. Come on. Maybe later. Maybe in a bit. I don't have a ton lined up today. I got a couple things, but you know, you missed it. I'll show you again real quick, just for you. Once through. Ooh, Shadow Stride. Ooh, Shadow Stride. Ooh, Shadow Stride. That's it. That's the whole thing. Gotta get here on time. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, let's get rid of you. Wild guess, after 0.9 is out and smooth sailed, do you think it's faster to get content patches through 0.9 to 1.0? Oh, yeah. The time between content patches, between the last patch and 0.9 is going to be an extreme exception to our development pattern, not the norm. I do not expect to wait this long between patches, hopefully ever again. This is very much longer than we had initially planned, longer than we had expected, all that sort of stuff. But it is super duper not representative of our long-term plans for release schedules at all. Is it you? No, it's not even you. Come on, get over there. Keep going. There we go. Oh! My mouth is too full. I can't chew anymore. Okay, come on. Oh, my man is hurting. Yeah, that's a bit of a struggle. There she blows. You know what I found out today? Before Leslie Nielsen was like the prototypical comedy straight man, he was like a serious, like, fantasy action sci-fi drama actor. I got recommended a movie today, Forbidden Planet. I'm gonna watch it. Excited to see it. I mean, that's not bad actually. I don't need crit strike avoidance. Also not terrible. Also not terrible. We'll take it. Enemies a crit chance. That's okay. We don't care about crit chance. Any hints to cosmetic cost? Mainly in relation to cosmetic points from Kickstarter backers. Yeah, that's a great question. We haven't nailed those down quite yet. I don't want to make any statements about expectations for quantities of purchasable with the amount of points that we've already given out and things like that, and how much those points are going to be worth. I think the number of points will be in the ballpark representative of the size of those packs, if that makes any sense. But that doesn't really mean anything without knowing what those points can buy. So yeah, it's I don't really have much info I can share with you on that one. Sorry. I think it's gonna be. We definitely the points of the the purpose of the cosmetic rewards MTX system and things like that is really to like fund the development long term, right? And I assume I'll be involved somewhat in those that decision making a little bit at least, and I think that everyone involved with that will. I don't want to make any too outlandish statements here, but I think it'll be reasonable. I don't think there's going to be anything ridiculous. Yeah. I know I basically just said nothing in like 4 different ways, and I'm sorry. I don't really have a good answer for it. I think you will be able to see, here's, I guess, something. I think you'll be able to see a distinction in flashiness between the different price points. So, like, likely things that are on the cheaper side will have less extreme visual effects that go with it. And things that are on the pricier side will probably have a little bit more going on with them. So, like, I don't know, maybe there's like, I guess a really good example is just look at the pets that are already there and the tiers that are available, and that's the type of progression I'm talking about. What's that? Beast King. Will we have a battle pass? There's no like design document for a battle pass that I've seen or anything like that. I can't say it'll be something that'll never happen, and I think it's also important to note like, I think battle passes get a bad rap overall as a catch-all for a negative term. When in reality there's a lot less. There's a lot less negative stuff happening there. I think there's a lot less negative stuff happening there as a core system. I think there's ways to do battle passes positively, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think it's almost never done, but it does happen, and there are games that do battle passes really well. When you look at them, and you're like, that's cool. That's really cool. And sometimes they don't even look like a battle pass, but they really are when you boil down what it's doing. And sometimes they're even just free. They're even just it's a free battle pass. There's no paid version of it, and you're like, that's cool. That's just a neat way to encourage varied engagement in the content with rewards for completing certain tasks, and that's cool. Tying power into it, and having the discrepancy between the free battle pass and a hypothetical paid battle pass being extreme is where you start to get issues, I think. So while we don't have anything planned, I could see there being a way we tie something similar to a battle pass in some way in the future, and it might not even look like you may see it and be like, oh, this is a cool system, and then behind the scenes I'm like, that's a battle pass. You just can't even tell. That type of thing might happen, but I don't know. It's all that's long-term plans at best. Long-term hypotheticals. Let's call them that. I don't like our armor getting shred. I'm not a fan of that. Enrage. We don't want to enrage. Yeah, the cooldown's not terrible. Let's go for that. Why is there no mana leech or mana pots in the game? I mean, there is mana leech on specific skills. Why is there no mana pots and very little mana leech? Why is there no mana leech stat? We try and use cooldowns as little as possible. Our primary means of balancing and regulating skill frequency and visual noise from those large flashy skills is generally through mana. That's our main form of that. And being able to and we do some of it through cooldowns as well. That's part of the reason why there's so few like why cooldown in mana is such a difficult stat to get is partially because we want the base versions to feel good and have the maximum potential of it not be too extreme. I guess what I'm saying is being able to just cast something like what's mana gated? It's not cool. Is Meteor mana gated? I think it's mana gated. Being able to just like spam Meteor forever would be a little gross. There's probably some build that can do that, but you know what I mean. Like we try and also use mana as a way to encourage skill weaving. So where you're not just being like, okay, this is my skill, I'm a one-button build, it's all I do. And we do have builds like that are available, but mana's quite often the way we try and do that, so that you're less worried about, can I use this ability? It's more, how many times can I use this ability in a row? So things are available when you need them for the most part, and it's strategically using them is a part of your play pattern and thinking is the goal. Don't forget to put at Last Epoch Game your questions. I see one here that I don't know what it means, so I'm going to read it out and I'm going to ask you to rephrase it so I can understand you. Ever going to implement stun B or Bach animations NS4 characters? I don't know what that means. Please tell me what that means. Hey Mike, last development update communication was dropped September 2nd. Any official communication coming soon? Hopefully. I don't think there's anything. I mean, like yeah, right now. No, but seriously, I don't know of any major dev updates, blogs planned right now. I think it's been a while. I think it would be good to get one out sooner rather than later. Yeah. No details. Sorry. New subclasses will not be unlocked on the battle pass. No, new subclasses will not be unlocked on a battle pass. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at something like that, because I'm sure that is a thing that happens. But no, that's not something we're planning. To be clear, I just want to make this clear as battle pass. There's no battle passes. There are no battle passes currently planned. I was merely leaving room for the possibility of a battle pass-like system that could emerge sometime in the future if we decided to, and was trying to give examples on how that could be done nicely. But no, we have no plans on a battle pass system at the moment. Our monetization model is incredibly simple. There's below average box price and some strictly cosmetic only microtransactions. That's about it. It's pretty simple. Alright. Last Epoch is surprisingly fun on Steam Deck. Cool. I know some people have been like getting it to work, and some people haven't been able to, and some people have, so it's interesting to hear that at least you are. That's cool. But I could use some control UI improvements. If y'all ever get the time, I love hybrid controls input scheme that incorporates the best parts of PoE Steam Deck and LE Steam Deck. Yeah, we've put literally zero time, effort, thought into the Steam Deck at all. What does work is purely incidental luck. We've completely ignored it and have no intention to support it until we're a little bit closer to release, or possibly after release. Like it's not a platform we're paying attention to. It's something that we'd love to get more involved with and have be like an actually supported platform, but we don't have the resources allocated to that at the moment. It's just, if it's working, cool. If it's not, oh well, we'll work on it later type thing. We just got to get to launch, and adding more platforms to our launch platforms will delay that. So it's back burner for now. I'm glad you have it working to some degree. I will say also, there are a lot of incidental things that will improve it. So just general UI improvements that are coming down the pipe will help it. General controller support updates will help it a ton, because that's the biggest problem with it right now, is that we don't have full controller support, and that is a launch feature. So there are incidental things that will happen to improve that experience, but it is not something that we're focusing on at the moment. With the change to making weapons have adaptive base damage, and just to be clear, we're not calling it adaptive anymore. The term adaptive is getting dropped, so it's just generic base damage. Let's call it that. Generic's the wrong term too. Just added melee damage is not a stat in the game right now. Added bow damage is not a stat in the game right now. Added throwing damage is not a stat in the game right now. We're gonna add those stats. Are there any planned changes to flat damage added modifiers? So yes, they're basically what it is almost, and not all of them, there are exceptions to this, but almost every weapon is going to get its implicit damage stat converted to the new style, which means we'll be dropping the word physical from most added damage stats on weapons, and we'll be dropping the word adaptive from spell stats as well. Just so the term adaptive spell damage will just become spell damage, and so the stat melee physical damage is not going away. You can still have the stat melee physical damage, and it'll still appear on affixes and things like that can go on gear. So use this 119 melee void damage that's an actual affix on this gear. This is a neat trick. You can alt tab if you're in windowed mode, if you're playing in a window, and it will basically separate your cursor from what's going on. But the tooltip system is designed to, if you alt tab out of the game, it forces the tooltip to stay on the screen, so you can move around. This is just a neat little trick. So this physical is going to get dropped here, so it'll just be melee damage. But this void damage will likely not get dropped in most instances, but could appear dropped in some instances if we wanted it to. So it's more like we're adding new stats into the game, and we're in a lot of situations converting them over, but not all of them. So there are certain weapons that are like, the weapon clearly looks like it's on fire, so it's going to be melee fire damage, and it's going to stay melee fire damage. Basically all the ones that are not physical are keeping their damage type, and maybe a couple of them that are physical are keeping it too, but it's really rare. The vast majority of them are all just changing to straight damage. And that will function the same way that adaptive spell damage functions at the moment. As for changing what those modifiers are, this does increase the power of most of those weapon implicits, because it is the proper damage type, such that because I'm dealing mostly void damage, and suddenly this melee damage is adaptive to it becomes void damage when I use avoidability, so increased void damage will increase that, whereas increased void damage does not increase this physical damage right now. So all of these stats are getting a little bit more powerful in general. It's not a huge shift, and there doesn't need to be a massive balance pass. There are a couple tweaks that are happening as we're going back through weapons, and we're like, okay, this one gets converted to generic, this one doesn't, this one like okay, well, this one gets converted, and let's turn it down by 2% or something. Like there's little changes that are happening there as well, which is just generic balance stuff. Hey, Rune of Ascendance, love to see it. Love to see it. Do something cool, try and up something to like slap a Maybe get a LP on there, you know? Give it a shot, right? Right? Are we there? 850, 13 short. Oh, hey! That's a good one. We don't really care about crit chance. All right. Any plans for some sort of matchmaking process with multiplayer? So yeah, if you just to clear something up, if you've seen us refer to the term matchmaking in previous communications, the term matchmaking that we've used refers to the server's ability to find when you're zone transitioning, to be able to find the proper server that your other people in your party are on, and put you in the same server as them, or create a new server to spin up for the new zone that you're entering, if necessary, if there's no one in that zone yet. So when we've used matchmaking in the past, that's what we mean by matchmaking. Just a little FYI. As far as Aaron, I just saw your comment. Oh my gosh. As far as matchmaking in the terms of like open a menu and be like looking for group for Temporal Sanctum T4, need one healer, you know, like that type of thing where it's more of an automated system. We're not really looking at much right now. That's something that might be added on later if we deem it necessary. We have got some feedback that it's a little tricky to find people to play with in the CT program right now. People are using Discord a lot. People are using the in-game chat a lot for things like that. And it's working okay, but not fantastic. I know personally, my experience with things like that is it's never been something necessary for me, because the way I play these games, quite often is solo until I've got a friend to play with, and then I play with a friend. And so like I'm already communicating with my friends on some other platform anyways. Having said that, that's definitely not the only way to play at all. Lots of people love to play multiplayer with just random people on the internet, which I think is a great way to connect with people and make new friends. And I definitely have friends still now today that I rated in WoW with, 10 years ago. More than that. Oh my gosh. 15 years ago? Ugh. When did Wrath come out? Anyways, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I can see it being a feature we look to add in the future, but it's not one that we have in right now. Sort of a maybe feature. It's in the maybe bag. Maybe. Can you provide any data on the base stats of minions, such as attack rate and base damage? Subclass has mined some of it, but not all. If you ask really nicely in Discord in the Ask the Devs channel, very specific ones, I can go grab a couple for you. We don't have a big like a big sheet of all of them or anything like that, so I actually have to like go and find their model in the game and like look through a couple different scripts to find where their base stats are. So I'd be willing to do some, but I'm not gonna go build an output system for the whole thing at the moment, or probably should at some point. Drink lots of water, kids. Mike confirms battle pass. Well, yes, but actually no. No, we're not doing that. Reiterate, we have no current plans to implement a battle pass system. Just to be super duper clear. Will your character ever be stunned, frozen? Will your character ever be stunned, froze block as far as animations? I think there's something missing in that question. Like animation locking for block animations. Like I think that's what it's asking. So like, if your character blocks an attack, is there an animation that happens which locks you in place for a brief moment? No, I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure it's just a block happened and that's it. Someone just pinged me in the Discord. I'm not gonna do it right now if that's what that was. This is Lagon. He's a totally unbroken, super stable, perfect build boss that works in every situation. No, he's super busted. There's learning his abilities is really important, and I'm gonna like get it wrong and just get popped at some point here. I guarantee it. But learning which way this beam's gonna go, I think, is the most important thing to improve your survivability in this. So it always travels towards the center. So I can turn red for a couple different reasons. Either he's doing that big downward eye blast that he just did, or he's doing the sweep. And so you notice how he sweeps towards the center here? And so when I saw him start to sweep, I moved to the outside so that he would sweep away from me. And I gave someone advice on Reddit this, and I said the exact opposite thing, and I just realized right now that I said the exact opposite thing. So I'm sorry, random person on Reddit, that I screwed over completely. You move to the outside, because he's going to move to the inside. And so whenever you start to see him like do that animation where he like dips down a little bit with his red eye, that's the big dip for the directional blast, and that's the up downward blast. So yeah, those are the things. So he's gonna move to the center. See there. So if I could have got to the outside of the far side, I would have. But there's enough room that you just run to the far side and you're fine. Because there was recently a thread that came up about how you can't beat Lagon without a movement ability because that beam always gets in the way. And it's learning how that's going to work. So it's going to come to the center. It's not going to make it to me. It's fine. But if you can move in the direction that it's coming from, you can quite often get away from having to stop DPS. And also this little center fills up with how close you are to the next phase, if you didn't notice that as well. So like, you got the full moon, phase 2. Yeah! And like the second phase is a lot harder to dodge because you have all the waves going. We also had some interesting bugs happen recently in multiplayer where people were killing the boss so fast, and this might happen in single player too. You kill the boss so fast that it still triggers that you actually kill the boss in wave 1, and it would still trigger phase 2. So you still have to complete phase 2 before the boss would even die, and then it would bug out after that half the time and cause horrible problems. And we just fixed that now. So if you do burst DPS down the boss before phase 2 even starts, you can skip phase 2 and 3 entirely, which I think is cool. Getting stunned there. Let's become the. Oh no. Oh, okay. Yeah. I messed that up a bit. There's an example of what not to do. Yeah. There we go. That was textbook right there. Textbook. Yes, I can. If he goes up real high or down real low, get out of the way. Ooh, I went to the wrong side. It's okay though. Yeah, well, I'm boring everybody else because my DPS sucks so much. And I'm not going to look at chat because I will die, and we'll have to do all of this all over again. Oh, I went the wrong way again. Thought I wasn't going to make it. So adaptive spell damage will just read spell damage. Noted as well, yes. Yeah, the term, oh no, did I go the wrong way completely? No, okay, fine. The term adaptive will no longer be a term in Last Epoch. But it will, but we are using the functionality for adaptive. Did I go the wrong way? I did go the wrong way. I'm losing the thread. It's okay. Doesn't sweep that far. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Come on. I'm trying. There we go. That's how you do it right.
You are starting to bore me.
What about increased support for throwing damage? So usually this question is referencing to actual added throwing damage on weapons. There, that was perfect right there too. Yeah, getting it back. We're not planning on adding weapon base types with added throwing damage implicits on them. That's really intentionally not available for the most part. But there we go. Get it, get it, get it. Yeah. Just like double the lightning res from that. Lightning shred. Lightning damage. Yeah, we're just gonna get way more lightning res. Can we? Does it show here? What's the? Ooh, it's even a high roll in there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get some. Double key. We'll take it. Increased support for throwing damage. Yes, there will be more throwing damage support that comes through. It's some of that will be like class specific throwing damage support. Some of that will be generic throwing damage support. There's unlikely to be, as I was saying, weapons with added throwing damage implicits added to the game. That's not something we're planning at the moment. Just to be clear. All right. We did great. We did great. I am the butt kicker. Now I can take lightning res off all my stuff. Look how overcapped we are. Oof, and fizz too. Of course, there's no lightning res on that. Gross little piece of garbage. It's all Ellie res, isn't it? Mike. Anything here? Not really. We can get rid of that cold damage. Oh yeah, we have a nice chest that I'm trying to make. Aren't I? That may be worth trying to forge. Might be worth trying to forge. Let's see if we can get something out of this. Okay, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna start with? Are we gonna try and roll to preserve the forging potential? Do we try and roll for movement speed, or we just flat put it on there? And let's gamble for it. Yes. So Rune of Discovery costs 0 forging potential. So you get free tiers, free T1 affix on there, so it didn't touch the forging potential at all. So we got movement speed, which is what we wanted, which is great. And we're just gonna stick that all the way to 5. What? And we didn't use any forging potential at all getting to there. I don't know if that was all hopes that were used, or if some of it was crits or what, but wow. Alright, we'll take that. Okay, let's get wild with this and like try and like seal some of these, like let's try and seal some of these. No, it's not working. Okay, let's just go for some vitality straight up. Okay. Well, we fell off hard at the end. It was an epic start though, wasn't it? It's no better than what we have already, is it? Basically, do we want vitality or strength and armor? I think it's what we have is actually a tiny bit better. Started so good. Started so good. That bug? Let's go this way. Thank you. Stop and cry. 45. Stop crying. 45. Stop and cry. Stop crying. 45. Yeah, thank you very much for the sub. Glad to see it. Glad to hear it. Hope you're having fun. I will not stop crying. Let me open the window though, because it is hot. It's too hot. Oof. Oof. Hey, big fan of Last Epoch and recently retired rare monster mods empowerment system from another game. Any chance I could find refuge in your game? I see a rare monster modifier currently are clearly written and too understandable to my liking. I would gladly help you out with that, providing such cool yet meaningless terms as void-skinned and Lagon touched and empowered elements. Sincerely, Arch Nemesis. Thinly veiled threats aside, or thinly veiled shots aside, yeah, it's we do like that's something that we do plan on keeping the way it is. I think I recognize you, and this is all mostly a joke. I think. But yes, the keeping those names readable and understandable is important. They're not quite like fully descriptive, and I think that is something that does need to be in the game guide. I don't think this is. I don't think they're here yet. Yeah, no, they're not here yet. It'll be monster mods or something like that. Combat mechanics. Yeah, it should be in here. Terminology, yeah. That's definitely something to add to the game guide. The game guide is good, but not like great. Or like it's on the right path, and I think that's the sort of thing that could get added to the game guide, even for the ones we have, where it's like resists fire damage or like resists fire. How much fire does it resist? Is it through giving it actual resistance? Is it a less modifier? What is it? How does that interact with shred? Things like that. Those are important questions, and having the details for advanced players in the game guide I think would be really useful. Meister Grind, welcome. Glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us. And I just realized I'm still on the left where my head is like cropped off partially. Haha. You can see my not so lovely hair now. That always looks weird in a headset. I feel like I should get a mic, like a boom mic or something, and like, or even just like something that sits on the table, so I can get my hair out of this headset. Cause I always hate how it looks on camera on these streams. I always look back at clips and I'm like, ugh, gross. That's terrible. What are you doing, Mike? Sort of tuned in late. Did I miss the multiplayer update? No multiplayer update. Sorry. I can give you a little here. I'll give it. In celebration of our victory over Lagon, I shall share another little tease, little teasy tease. I know I say it every time that happens, but that like run left bug is fixed, and I'm so happy. Here is a rogue. A medium early rogue set for gear. Oh, got that itchy foot. Right. Any exciting skill buffs you want to share for 0.9? Like, we haven't really done much of the big balance pass stuff yet. Fury Leap, I'm pretty sure, is getting some usability tweaks that make it a little bit more in line with some of the other movement skills. There we go. There's a tease. When will there be MTX available? So I'm working on that right now. That's as soon as I'm finished working on it for 0.9. Hopefully that'll be out with 0.9 at the same time. Like as soon as I'm finished working on it, and it's QA's done, and we've got all that stuff, we'll start releasing it for the CTs. I think as like to test the program out. It'll probably be like a I don't know exactly how we're gonna do this, but I assume it's gonna be something along the lines of like everyone gets 1,000 cosmetic coins to test the system out with, and none of it is saved, and so none of it's permanent or anything like that. I feel like we'll do something like that. Is it true that every time someone asks about multiplayer release, you guys intentionally push it back the date by 1 day? No, because I'd like to release it this millennia. Okay, let's keep going here. In the future, when all classes are complete, do you plan on introducing new skills? If so, will older skills rotate out? That's a good question, actually. It's possible that old skills could rotate out, because yes, like when it's all done, we are going to add more skills, and there is sort of a point where a skill page like this becomes excessive, you know. And we have retired abilities in the past, and do intend to retire more abilities in the future too. There's even one ability still in the game that I keep saying we're cutting, and we never do somehow. One day I'll get you Ice Thorns. One day I'm coming for you. But seriously, yes, we do plan on adding more. There is this page was specifically designed with room right here for an extra ability per class to easily slot in. Per mastery, and then on top of that, it was designed such that it could be shifted a little bit here and there to accommodate for some more skills to be added. There is room in the passive tree. This one's not set up distributed properly, but this is how they'll all look. This is the distribution that all mastery classes will have at launch, and there is clear spaces for 2 more mastery abilities to sit very nicely here that we've sort of made room for. And there's also room for another one here that I think is cheeky but really good. So yeah, we do plan on adding more. Will we have to rotate some of them out eventually? Probably, and I think that'll happen more so when we come and we're like, here's a new ability that we really want to add because it adds this key component, but it also it sort of overlaps with this other ability a little bit. Hey, can we add in, like, take that one that's maybe not as impressive, not as cool, maybe take it and incorporate a lot of the things that it does, some of the effects that it has, some of the visuals, some of the theming, some of the feels that it gives into another ability, or like take pieces of it and move it around possibly, and things like that will happen, and things like that will continue to happen for sure. Having the number of skills be small enough that it's approachable to new players when they can look at it and go, okay, I want to do a cold sorceress, and I can see very clearly by looking at this page that there's these 8 abilities to choose from. Cool, let's go, let's try some out. Having that approachability is really important to us, which is part of the reason why have the system we have is and break things up. Like, we break all the skill trees up into individual trees to improve accessibility. We break up the like hard classing things, so you're not looking at, so you don't need to take into account Fireball when you're playing a Void Knight as a possible ability, and we try and increase the accessibility that way, and then while still having tons of depth and making things interesting and all those sorts of stuff. Like we don't want to. There's a balance. There's a fine line balance there, and adding more skills, it's because you have the combination of the skills is really what makes a build come alive. Every time you add one more skill, you're multiplying the total number of combinations available by a pre-picked number. And so we definitely want to be able to add new skills to keep things fresh and exciting for veteran players, but having the ability to remove older ones if necessary is something that we are not going to be too afraid of. Maybe some of them get converted into a triggered ability on a weapon. Maybe they get turned into a spec version of another ability. Things like that. There's all sorts of stuff we can do to hide abilities elsewhere, which already exist. So the activatable ability for Spriggan, for Summon Spriggan, the Healing Wind, sorry, was a primalist ability, was a primary primalist ability for quite a while, actually. And then Fire Aura as a triggered ability on many Mage Idols, and in Passive Tree, that was a primary ability for Mage for a long time as well. It was actually a secondary effect on a primary ability that was retired. Close enough. And so yeah, we've already sort of done this a few times with different abilities, and we'll probably continue to. But I want them. Thank you. All right. Oh, I lost my point. Eesh. Okay, I'll try and find where I was close. Sir, can you maybe let us know if MTX will be available soon? It'll be publicly. MTX will be publicly available with 0.9 is the plan. That's repeating the question. Please don't spam a question a whole bunch. I'll get to it. I promise. Unless I clearly answer questions after yours, please do not repeat it. Is there plans for an auction house of some sort or a way to trade still in the mix? Sorry, returning player from 2 years. There is a method planned by which items can transfer ownership from one character to another, or let me rephrase that. There will be some system in place whereby items can transfer from one player to another player in some way, given some restrictions or processes they're so far unexplained. Oh, I have a question. Wonderful. I'll read your question. Could we see a lot of this extra art be compiled somewhere on the website someday? Oh, it is. Get ready for this. You guys make a lot of beautiful art, and I love using them for videos, but I have to go through 20 different forum posts to find it all. Well, a lovely community member has done the work for you already. And the work for us already. Andrew Tilley has compiled a ton of stuff into a sweet forum post. And it has, I'm pretty sure this is all the info compiled from like development updates, Facebook, like forum posts, and also the stuff that's been leaked here. So I hope I can post this. I'm gonna do this on the website, post in chat, so I don't lose my place this time. So there, I just posted that forum link. Just make sure it's the right one. Yeah. The lovely picture of me as a bee at the front of it. Okay, so yeah, that's where that you can find. You should be able to find all of the things that have been leaked or teased on various platforms in that one place. We do also have and it's a little out of date at this point. On our website, there is also a media, like like sort of generic news media page where there's like our logo and like some backgrounds and just some like splash art stuff and things like that are available as well. If you're just looking for sort of like Last Epoch related media stuff to put a random picture in front of something as a splash, or I don't know what, but yeah. Hopefully that helps. Can we have a Mike skin for Primalist? Probably not, but it's cool that you're asking for it, so thanks. Maybe, we'll see. Any plans to let us change armor skin to another one in the game? Would that be paid MTX? So there will be a system by which you can do that through MTX, like by you'll this whole page has changed, but yes, or you'll like pick an MTX for your armor and it'll replace the visual on your character. Like that'll be there. But if you're talking like make this piece of armor look like some other piece of armor that's already in game, like a transmog system, yeah, there's I don't know the details of what that's going to look like, but we are planning something like that. And we do have the back end available that we can do it. Well, there's a little bit of dev work that needs to be done for that, but it's not immense. Just having an override for a single function call, so it's not a big deal. All right. the in-game UI changes for that is the biggest part about that, and having it save to the actual file for the armor piece to be able to like change what it looks like. So it would need to be a new field in the save file for the schema would need to change. That's the word I'm looking for. All right. Can I talk about the server network infrastructure at all? You're a sysadmin and love hearing about infrastructure type stuff. I can't really talk about it because you probably know way more about it than I do. So I would be making horrible mistakes. Yeah. Sorry. Are you / the HG taking time off for the holidays? Will you be traveling? Yeah, we generally close the studio between Christmas and New Year's. Just and like there's skeleton crew around, I guess, of a few people here and there, but and like I'm never really gone. Even when I'm on vacation, you guys probably don't even notice it. It becomes just such habit that you check your phone and like you just go to Discord and yeah. Anyways, but yes, there's we'll be taking some time off over between Christmas and New Year's, and personally, I won't be traveling. I'm still in let's fight off this pandemic mode. Come on, it's still happening. Personally, and part of that is you have a young kid and you really don't want them to get it, and so maybe you get a little overprotected. But yeah, I'm not personally ready for traveling yet. Crush.
Stand down or die.
Fire Aura was a castable skill as well. Was it, eh? I believe you. Makes sense. Okay. More questions. Will you have Twitch drops and things when you go live? Hopefully. That's we don't have a system integrator for that just yet, so no details. But hopefully, yeah. Okay, I scrolled past a bunch there, but there were no more at Last Epoch game pings in there, so I may have missed the question. If I missed your question, please feel free to re-ask it. And I'll do my best to answer it. In the meantime... it's a rare one to get, but I'll take those. Not what I was hoping for. Still good though. Let's up this one, see what happens. Nope. Those boots we made, let's up those, see what happens. Oh, he needs forging potential. Obviously, he needs forging potential, Mike. Pfft, what are you even doing? Ugh. All res. Void enemies deal increased damage. Yeah, you do have kept void res. Mark for death. Ooh, not a big fan of mark for death. Yeah. Will there be any PoE style add X type damage modifiers that work on weapon skills that don't normally have that type of damage or element? I'm not sure if I understand the question, but I'm pretty sure we already do that. Like, this might be a bad example because it still does physical, doesn't it? I mean, okay, here's I guess we just do this. Like here's this as just a physical melee ability, and the plus 119 melee void damage applies to it. So, yes. Yes. FD Maskakaki. Yes. Yeah, if you have your wand, if you cast Lightning Blast and your wand has oh no, I guess yeah, I would still do it if you have plus 10 fire spell damage. It would still apply. Yeah. Generally, this is kind of what we were talking about before, is we use the term adaptive spell damage for the most part. We very rarely will have the specific element, so that the spell damage adapts to the spell you're dealing, so it has more synergies with your other abilities, like increased lightning damage in that case. And we're doing the same thing to most to implicits, at least, do this on melee weapons as well. But the explicit modifiers do work the way you're talking about, so yes. Also, to the person who I just read the comment in Discord about the stats for the squirrels and wolf, if you're still listening, what stats do you want? Because I'm not going to give you all of them. Do you want their health? Do you want their damage? Like, pick a couple. Pick the greatest hits of the stats you want. Most of them are probably 0. Almost all of them are probably 0. Would you guys consider having the old Necromancer model as a purchasable skin? It's unlikely that we go back to... I think you mean Lich Reaper form model? I think is what you mean there. But I could be wrong. As far as Acolyte model? Or, like, are we talking, like, Necromancer, like, before Acolyte was a thing? Because that one's not coming back. But full base model character skins, I don't think it's something that we've got planned at the moment. I'd say it could be something that we could see later, but it's not planned. Base damage and attack rate specifically, but how if they scale with equipped weapon attack rate? I mean, if your weapon has increased melee minion attack speed, then it increases their attack speed by the percentage that it says on the stat. Base damage is base damage of their abilities, which is probably 1 or 2. That might be different for minions, actually. I'll look that up, but yeah, put it over there. Attack rate is probably 1. Oh, we're getting real close to the end. I don't know if I have time for another one. I really wanted to go do another unique here. I was really hoping to do that, but I didn't find any good Exalted Chest Beasts. Unfortunate. We'll do it next time. That's our goal next time, is to make sure we get an Exalted Chest Beast. I'll have a backup one if we don't find one. So I'll make sure we do it next time, for sure. Hi, short-term fan of the Last Epoch game. Could you please explain sextant blocking briefly? Thanks. It's so complicated, you don't want to know. I think some attack rates are like 0.6875 or something. I like the video editing skills to test. Final leak. Did I not show? Yeah, it's. I have another one that I had prepared, but the video it like stops partway through, and I almost don't want to show it. So we'll give an after hours leak, and something happened with this video, and I don't know why, but it's super choppy, and I'll show it to you anyways. It like jumps around. That's not in game. That's just like the video dropping frames. Oh, it's even worse than I thought it was. Oh gosh. Well, you can see chunks of new Rive effects. Hopefully it's better than nothing. I'm sorry. Wasn't gonna show that. Yeah, a little bit extra there. All right. Oh, Nightbot, you got the wrong thing in there. That was last month's sub. Anyways, have a great night, everyone. Have a great morning. Have a great day, wherever it was. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thanks for stopping by. I had fun. I hope you did too. Let's go say hi to someone else. Oh, someone doing a blind playthrough. Yeah. Let's go be helpful and nice. Those are cool things to be. If you have any more questions that I missed, please feel free to head on over to Discord, Reddit, forums. We got lots of people answering questions all the time on those platforms, and we're happy to keep doing so. Otherwise, I'll see you here next time. Same time, same place next week. Have a great time. Bye.